Howdy, everyone. Matt here. I got a question for you. What do you think of the physical therapy community online? Let's talk about that. So let me introduce myself. My name is Matt. I am Matt the PT, coming at you with another video on another topic of something in the physical therapy world. And this is the physical therapy community online. What do you think about it? And I'm going to tell you about this because it may be controversial. It may cause you to, clutch your pearls. Let's put my pearls on right before I say this. But the physical therapy community online is probably the most toxic community there is. As I grasp, clutch my pearls in horror of somebody saying that. But anyway, I wanted to talk about that, and I want you to share your opinions and beliefs and things about that down in the comments below. Now, I wanted to talk about this because it's something, again, I have viewed for several years, and overall, I feel it's something that is pretty bad about the physical therapy community, and I think it is something that is actually holding us back. I'll tell a couple examples, and I do like to use the examples that I have dealt with in my life, and like I said, please share yours. But I remember a few years ago on Facebook, in a Facebook physical therapy group, somebody asked a question, another physical therapist, another colleague of one of us in this wonderful, amazing profession that we do. And they asked a question to say, I have a patient that has come to me with back pain. They're having like a little bit of back pain, and their back pain comes from them being their family member's caregiver, and that this patient had a family member who had, I believe, a muscle disorder where their family member was a maxicist for everything. So that this person was totally 100% dependent upon others to do really anything, and was saying that this person, my patient coming to me is having this back pain, and what are some ways that I can help my patient in training to train their body to be able to pick this person up, because it's a body, and you've probably done transfers. I would so hope at one point or another. I know you did them in school. But dealing with a human body is fairly challenging. It's not like a barbell or a dumbbell. It's a pretty standard weight on the barbell or the dumbbell. It's pretty standard. It doesn't move a whole lot. It's just there. But a person, we're kind of awkwardly built. Weight is distributed in different ways. An arm can go one way, a leg can go. Things can move. So it's maybe not like a standard. And so people are they're wanting to, what's a good training for this person to kind of train for, having to pick somewhat from awkward positions and things like that. Very legitimate question. I'm going to say it's a very legitimate question. So people are posting things down there. Well, I wanted to chime in and provide help because someone had asked for help. Another physical therapist asked for help. I said, well, you know what would be one possible? I said strongman, because I've never done strongman. I do like watching strongman. But they do lifts that are unconventional. I mean, they are lifting weights like what we do in the gym, what people do in the gym, but they're sometimes handling things that are kind of awkward. They're carrying awkward shaped things and picking them up from different, levels and stuff like that. And I said, well, you may want to look at that, because it is a form of training that is a little different when you are kind of working with, awkward lifts and weights and stuff like that. Some third-party person, so another therapist, comments under mine and attacks me over this suggestion. Attacks me over it, saying that's the dumbest thing I could have suggested. They're not looking for strongman stuff. That is the worst thing to go, and just was going off the rails on me. Now, I took a breath and kind of pointed back to say, where is this coming from, first off? What is your problem? This, the poster was asking, what are some ways to train? I gave it and explained in it why. Strongman, because you do lift, awkward weights and kind of awkward positions. It could be a way. It's a suggestion. And I said, I gave all that explanation. What is your problem with doing that? Because it's something different to look at. And they rattled on about with something. And I said, what would you do if I came at you like this? And to which they never responded or anything like that. So that was one incident I do have in mind. And I had another one that was a lot more recent. Somebody was asking again in a Facebook group about a manual therapy certification. Like, what's a good manual therapy certification? What is a really good one to go into? And, I am a fellowship trained therapist. I have done, all sorts of manual therapy. I enjoy manual therapy. I hope you watch some of my special test stuff. And this person, some person said, Mackenzie, well, as you know, I'm a diplomat in MDT. And I said, yeah, that's a good one. To which another person came in and started attacking me over the fact that I suggested that Mackenzie, MDT, is a manual therapy certification. Attacking me. And I'm going to tell you this, and I hope the person's watching, that they were also a business owner of several clinics in an area and was the absolute rudest person in that situation. Rudest, unprovoked, rudest person to attack me and this other person over a suggestion. To which point, emotions were getting high. And I also brought up to say, how much about this do you know? And this is the big thing. They don't know about anything with MDT. And I brought that up. I said, you came in here attacking me, bashing it, and you know nothing about it. You have an elementary knowledge of it. So that does show that I can't say that you can't say anything about this. You don't understand it. As likewise, you own all these businesses. I own one clinic, my clinic, and I've worked, I have a little business experience. That would be the same for me coming in and telling you what you are doing wrong or what you should do with running your businesses. And it went back and forth and back and forth. And it's like, that is the absolute worst response, unprovoked, to someone else in your field over someone else asking a question. And I have seen it over and over again. I have seen it with other therapists online that they do this stuff to start fights. And I know they do it for content. I know that's the big thing. You go after a small community or a community of therapists or some approach or something, and you just kick up that hornet's nest, and then you run back and you laugh and ha ha ha, and you're terrible and you're it's absolutely despicable. It truly, really, truly, truly is. And I would like to your experience. Have you ever dealt with this online? But I'll tell you the sad thing about this is that not a single person would ever say that to another therapist to their face. That's the sad thing. You would never go into another therapist's clinic or even have them in your clinic and you work alongside one another and walk up to them and saying, what you are doing right now is the absolute worst, garbage, terrible, horrible thing. They should take your license and you should just never practice again. Would never say that. Would never, ever, ever say that in person. And unfortunately, when we get online, we think that we can do this. And I'm going to be honest. We're a small percentage of the population. We are. Our profession, how many we got? 600,000 of us? PTs and but it's more with PTAs. So there's less than 1 million of us total. And being online is a way that we can at least all be together, that we can all communicate and share and talk with other things. And is that really a great way to deal with one another in situations, is to be such like that when we have something that is in common with us, that we do this wonderful, amazing profession, and that is how we interact with one another? And the sad thing, what it comes down to, it's a lack of understanding. It's people refusing to ask that other person, why are you doing that? Why did you say that? So like the first one, she could have easily said, well, why did you suggest that? I'm kind of curious about that. Let's have a conversation. Or the guy with the McKinsey thing to say, well, why did you say the McKinsey thing? I'm kind of curious about that. I've heard about it. Maybe somebody has said that. Maybe no one has ever said that. Can you prove? Can you teach me about that? Can you teach me? And I'm going to tell you, whenever I see those things out there, I try to have that mindset of saying, hey, you know what? I know that you said this. Why did you? What is going on? Teach me about it. Well, I've heard this about it. Can you tell me why that is? And there. Now, I will be fair. Every community is toxic online. Okay. The powerlifting. I do powerlifting. The powerlifting community is extremely toxic online to one another. The fitness community is extremely toxic online to one another. I play drums. The drumming community, literally last night I was watching a video of a guy. He's an amazing drummer, just some cool tricks and stuff like that, playing a song with his own little flair and people bashing this guy for him doing a flair to this. You made that song terrible. This is just dude, you don't have to pay attention to it. If you don't like it, move on. He's showing something that he does. It is. Everything. And I'll tell you what, Christian community, when you get into that, it's an extremely toxic community once you get into it. And it's so sad. Now, I would say with all of this, what I do believe it shows is that we as humans have a long, long way to go in accepting one another and working with one another. And I think that is a huge thing in physical therapy, is that we want to divide ourselves, put another down in these situations rather than saying, hey, let's all come together. Let's understand one another. Let's work with one another. Maybe we don't have to like one another. I'm not saying we have to all like each other. You can have times where you just don't like somebody. Just personalities clash or whatever. But I'll be honest. Good gracious. I'm just going to put that out there. It is. And honestly, and that's why I don't put out, stuff on, I don't comment on people's things about, treatments and stuff like that. I don't really do. I may throw a little thing out there every once in a while because there's some weirdos out there that put random stuff, but it doesn't go anywhere. I just want to say it. Anytime you say anything negative, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't cause anybody to change their mind. They dig their heels in, and it leads to a fight. Anyway, with all that being said, I thought I would just make this little video about that. And I want to know your opinions about it. Share it down below. Share in the comments. Do you think it's toxic online? Have you had an experience with other therapists, or when you've put something out, you say, hey, I thought this was good, and everybody crapped on it? Okay. Have you ever had that? So if you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you enjoy the content, everything that I put out, consider subscribing to the channel. It won't cost you that copay or anything like that. So with that all being said, take care of yourself. Take care of your patients. I'll see you next time.